All right, well, the meeting has been called to order at 5:30 PM. We'll kick off with roll call.
All right, Chair Emma Wood,
Present.
Vice Chair Jena Biondolilo, Kristen Beard,
Present.
Kat Hammer is not present, Nick Palmer,
Present.
Cody Phelps, Rhonda Wilcox, and City Council Liaison Tina Prang and English School Liaison Dwayne Tucker are not present. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill, Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation Brad Anderson, Parks and Open Space Manager Adrian Torres, Senior Services Manager Nancy Baum, Recreation Supervisor Shelly Fritz-Pelly, Recreation Coordinator Christine Leahy, and we have from the City Attorney's Office, B. Murray. All right.
Wonderful. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of March 13th? Now, can I get a motion to, is there a motion to accept the minutes as written? Sure. For the second? Second.
Thanks.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. And the minutes are approved. We do have public comment tonight. We had a gentleman last time named Miles submit public comment. And then we responded to him both verbally on the recording and Christina emailed him and then he provided more public comment. Before I read these, is there anything you want to share about your email communication with him?
No,
Okay.
I wish he would have shown up a while ago, but
Yeah. Okay, so, I'll just read these for the record. He first submitted public comment on the 12th, which we read on the 13th, and then he followed up on the 29th of March, and he said, "Hi, Miles here again. I would like to make one more public comment. I just found out a new wave is being built in Colorado Springs called the Surf Shack. I hope you guys can get in touch with them and find out if it's a profitable investment for your community. It's nice to have a new wave on the way. However, I'm sure people and riders closer to Denver and Englewood would much rather save money on gas and get to a closer location. I know you guys are busy with a lot of stuff right now. Hopefully something to consider in the future perhaps. Best of luck to all of you in Englewood Parks and Rec on all your future endeavors. Wishing you all well, Miles." And then he followed up again and said, "I just listened to the Parks and Rec meeting from today. Thank you guys for reading and responding to my public comment. I have been listening to you guys meetings and following the bond since around late 2023. Let me know if you guys would like more info about the wider community of flowboarding here in Colorado. There are regular riders of all ages here and families who purchase passes for all their little ones, as well as grandparents who ride with their grandkids. I'm aware that a new flow rider is a large investment up front, but it can pay off over time. Some riders are willing to go out of state in the winter to ride waves in other states. Most of us have season passes to Waterworld. Yes, it's not the biggest sport in the world, but there is a community here. Maybe I should come out to city council like one of your members suggested. I'll keep tuning in to listen to you guys. If you would like more info or have more questions, feel free to ask. I hope to hear from you all again. I know you guys are busy, so I won't slow you down. As usual, wishing you all the best." So we had a little bit of discussion that originally the surf simulator was cut as part of the bond. And you reach out to him. Is there anything else you want to share?
I think we'll watch what Colorado Springs does and kind of just follow it. I mean, nothing's ever off the table. It won't be part of this bond, but it's not to say we can't go for a GOCO grant or something in our future. That we could add a surf simulator in a location, whether it be the rec center or somewhere else. So nothing's ever really off the table. It's just a matter of finding the appropriate funding to move it forward. So.
Sounds good. And Miles, if you're listening, go to city council and tell them how you feel. It's always a good way to voice your opinion as well in addition to these meetings.
Yeah, speaking of that, I know that council killed it, but what was the cost of the proposed one? And do we happen to know the cost of the one in the Springs?
Not sure the cost of the one on the spring, it was $750 for the.
$1 is for the unit itself, where the large expense came for the recreation center was the building of it.
Mhm.
So the building to encase it was gonna be probably another $1.5 million.
Wow. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but knowing we have like River Run in our community and it's very popular in
Sure.
the spring, summertime, so that's where that idea came up with. It'd be nice to have something that people can learn on in addition to have some fun, so.
Just a question, when it wasn't a bond, was it proposed to be a free amenity with a rec center membership, or was it gonna be an extra?
It would be an extra cost. It was the original discussion that we were having, because we were looking at revenue generation. And how do you, attract the people to come in, so whether it be a punch pass or a wristband they purchase for the day, could run it out for corporate or birthday parties or other things like that. So we had kind of a menu of options to bring in revenue. We didn't get down to the actual cost of what a ride would be. Is it a wristband for the whole day or the whole time you're there? What is it gonna look like? So we were kind of starting that process and then it was pulled, so we never got to the end of it, but we'll watch what Colorado Springs does and I'm very curious to see if it is revenue generating for them and exactly where they're putting it. If you put it in like where sand volleyball courts are and a nice bar and restaurant versus a little rec center, you probably will be profitable because it's a destination for people, but ultimately a rec center it's a little different setup. So we'll see, we'll look into Colorado Springs a little bit more and report back eventually.
The other aspect we're gonna do with this programming, so we would have had flow riding classes. So there's other aspect that we're done.
Is there any other public comment, Debbie?
There is not.
Okay. Well, we can-
Oh, no, I was just gonna note that Dwayne Tucker arrived.
Very sorry he's late.
No, you're fine. I just want so that,
All right, well, let's move on to new business and chat through public meeting procedures.
So I am BMS materials for you guys. This is a little one-page reference guide for all the members of the board, if we don't mind passing this around to everyone. Sorry, thank you. And this is an annotated copy of Bob's rules with an Englewood ordinance for the chair of the board. Pass this down to you.
Some light reading.
And I am just here to talk to you guys today about the Englewood rules for public meeting procedures and some changes that we're proposing. And so I have some of these guys to reference, but you also should have access to refer back. But This are today, the city attorney's moments at a third year law student to you. And I am just updating you guys on these changes. And so our first slide here gives you a little bit of background on what this is and what's happening with it. Bob's Rules of Order is that printed book. It is basically the standard rules for meetings like this in Colorado. And Englewood adopted it in 2017 or 2018. And then it was expanded in 2023 just to make it a little bit more comprehensive. And Englewood made some small changes in 2024 that I am going to update you guys on. So a quick overview of what Bob's Rules even is. The main goal of it is to help you folks run your meetings efficiently and effectively. And so there's a lot of discretion and flexibility that you have in how you choose to apply the rules and just making them work for you guys as a body. Good references to be aware of in the actual book. You should have all received a copy of Bob's Rules when you joined the board. So if you don't have a copy, let us know. We can get those to you. In Appendix B of the printed book, it is a really brief list of all the rules, just for quick reference to look back to if you need it in a meeting or something. And Appendix C has a table of all the types of motions and points. If you just need to answer a quick question about one of the nuances of the different types of motions and points you can use. So those are the main functions that you guys can use under Bob's motions for any sort of formal action that you want to take. And those functionally all work pretty much the same. A member can introduce it, it needs to be seconded. You guys get the opportunity to debate, and then you vote on it, and the body takes whatever action. And points are used for smaller, more procedural issues or things that need to be addressed more urgently in a meeting. So just small things that come up that you you do keep meeting runs smoothly. And then that one-page reference guide that we passed around is also just for ease of use for you guys during meetings to answer some questions that come up pretty frequently. It talks about that flexibility that you have in how to use Bob's rules, as well as some basics on motions and points. And one particular type of motion that our boards have found kind of confusing is the motion to reconsider. So it is used when there is a motion that you've already voted on, but for example, new information has come to light and you think it should be reconsidered. So the motion was previously voted on, you can now introduce a motion to reconsider, which doesn't necessarily reverse that first vote, but it makes it as though the first vote didn't happen. So it vacates that first vote and lets you guys discuss it fresh, basically, and put forward a new motion on the same issue. These are time limited, so you can only use it at the same meeting that you voted on it or at the next meeting. So if there was a matter from a couple months ago that you want to bring back up, this would not be the motion to use, but if it was pretty recent, you can use this. It also can only be brought by a member that voted in the majority first vote. So if you lose a vote on a matter, this would not be the appropriate motion to bring it back up. And yeah, like I mentioned, if it is successful, it just vacates the original vote and you guys get to discuss the matter fresh and vote on a new motion on it. So that is the motion to consider. And the reference guide also talks a little bit about executive sessions, which we'll discuss at the end, and some ethics points, with the main issue being the difference between an appearance of impropriety and a true conflict of interest. And the reference guide helps with a little bit of clarity of what the difference there is. But the key difference is that if there's a true conflict of interest for a member on the board, you have to recuse yourself on the matter and you can't vote on it. But if there's just an appearance of impropriety, it is up to you and your good discretion to choose whether you want to disclose it to the board and choose whether you want to vote or recuse yourself on the matter. And so the next slide talks about the ordinance that was passed to the board for Englewood to just make some small changes to the published copy of laws. And I will update you guys on the small changes in these next couple slides. So the first one has to do with recusal and leaving the room. So like we mentioned with conflict of interest, if you're recused on a matter, the original Bobs would have you leave the room. But because of Colorado open meetings laws, we can't require you to fully leave the meeting. And so if you're recused on a matter, you can't vote on it, but you could stay in the room and still listen to debate on it. So that is the first pretty minor change. The next one has to do with closing debate. So under the original Bobs, if you introduce a motion, you get to speak to it first in the debate. And this Englewood change just gives you the last opportunity as well. So if you introduce a motion, you get to open and close debate, just to kind of bookend it on your matter. The next one has to do with a summary of debate. So this rule doesn't originally exist in Bob's copy, it's just added as Englewood change. And it basically lets you, after you vote on a motion, any of you as members of the board can request that a summary of the debate that you had is added into the minutes of the meeting. So just for some clarity, after the fact, to go back and remember what was all discussed, you can get the summary added, and other members of the body can object if you don't want that. But you have that option to be added in the minutes. The next one also, this rule doesn't exist in the published copy of Bob's, it's just added with this Englewood change. And it adds a point of decorum, which is just a different type of point for you guys to use. And functionally, it works basically identically to the other points. It just is used in different situations. And so the main original point is like a point of order, which you would use if the rules of order are violated, like if a motion isn't introduced correctly, or if you think a vote wasn't properly recorded. But this, with a point of decorum, you would use if the rules of decorum are being violated. So if someone is being rude or yelling or violating your rules of decorum as the commission, this would be the point that you would use to address that in meeting. And our last change is about the executive session. So this motion you would use if there is a topic that you want to discuss, but you think it should be discussed outside of the public setting of a meeting like this. So if there is confidential information being discussed, or if you, for example, need confidential legal advice from the city attorney's office, you could make a motion for an executive session, which would allow you to discuss the matter in a private executive session. The change here has to do with whether you can debate the motion. So a motion or an executive session can only be used to discuss some items. You can't use it for just anything. And so under this Englewood change, you can debate this motion, but only about whether the topic is appropriate for an executive session. So you guys can debate that, and if you agree that it is appropriate, you would be able to hold that private executive session to discuss. And those are all of the changes. Any questions you guys have, or if you need additional thoughts, please let us know. Have that.
And Councilmember Prang just arrived.
Any questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing. Let's have you. All right, we can move on to the Malley Rec Center update. Looks like we're starting with Nancy.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Nancy Baum. I'm the Senior Services Manager here at the Malley Center. So thank you for being here tonight. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what our center is doing. Some time ago, we did some research on the city of Englewood as a whole and found some data from the US Census, that noted that about 32% of the population of Englewood is over the age of, what's wrong, it's the end of the day, is over the age of 50, and about 21% is over the age of 60. So that sort of begs the question, what are we doing for our older adult population here in Englewood? So we put together an age-friendly action plan to sort of address some resources and programs that would better serve the community. And currently in place, we're doing some more programming on food security and nutrition, personal and cyber safety, as well as technology assistance, housing and aging in place, so helping connect people to housing resources, and then helping to provide programming that helps them to age in place better. And then also tapping into some financial and health resources. So we're kind of expanding our program offerings. We're also going to do some additional research to find out where these populations live in the city of Englewood and how we can better reach them and get their input to better shape our programs and services. So just a quick background there. I also wanted to talk about something really exciting that's happening here at Malley, and we're going to be doing a little refresh of our facility. So as you guys walk down the hall, you saw these aspen trees here along the right side. And so we plan to knock those down to provide some more space to bring in some updated equipment. And then also we're going to knock out a wall here on the side to open up our flat irons room. And we're going to do all new flooring in both the fitness area and the flat irons room. And we're going to bring in a brand new, all brand new equipment for an advanced training room. And then all new cardio equipment, an updated electrical system, better Wi-Fi, and then a dynamic training corner. In the corner over here, you can kind of see now we have some free weights and some balls and things. We're going to totally refresh that as well. And then in about a year, we'll bring in a new circuit training equipment. So super exciting time here at Malley. So yeah, any questions?
Yeah. When you said 32% is over the age of 50 and 21% over 60, is that 21% of the 32%, or are we saying 53% of the Englewood population is of that age group?
So 32% of roughly 37,000 are over the age of 50. And then 20% of that 37,000 is over the age of 60, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit. It's about a fourth
Yeah.
of the community is over the age of 50. So that's substantial.
Yeah.
So,
I have a couple.
yeah.
So are the new programs that you just mentioned, are those anticipating the needs of this growing older audience or to meet the needs of what you currently are seeing as demand?
You know, a little bit of both. We do a lot of, if people come in and they request a program, we try to meet that need. We sort of look at what's currently offered, not only in our center, but in the surrounding community, and see how we can rise to the occasion to better meet food security, to better offer some more nutrition programs. And I don't know if you guys know, but we're surrounded by 2 affordable housing communities here. The one across the street is primarily seniors, and the Orchard Place is a mix of family and seniors. So we are anticipating their needs to some degree, kind of looking at what other municipalities are doing, what's happening locally, federally. What if folks asked for, some folks ask for social security guidance or Medicare guidance. So we bring in those governmental agencies to do some outreach with them directly. And then just sort of anticipating, we serve anywhere from 55 to 105. So that's a huge lifespan. So there's a lot of life changes in that time frame. So we really try to provide resources for that giant age range, really. So, but we do really want to get some more feedback from that population so that we can really fine tune what we're offering and make sure it's really what they want and meeting them where they are essentially.
We last month approved budget for the capital projects, and I know Malley was part of the line items, and then those are the improvements that you mentioned, were those budgets meant for those, and for those improvements you mentioned, and if there are other sources of funding, where are they coming from?
For the improvements. So we are tapping into the Conservation Trust Fund for a large chunk of this.
Okay.
And then Malley also has a really special trust fund. We meet every 3 months. And so we went to them and requested funds for part of this project as well. So the two combined are what's funding this project. Any questions? Yeah.
Do you have personal trainer services available?
We do.
And within that, do you have personal trainers that can differentiate between the needs of an aging woman versus an aging man regarding the use of equipment, et cetera?
That's a great question. Shelly, do you want to take that one?
So yes, we do. Our personal training staff is very versed. We have 2 female trainers and we have 4 male trainers. And a lot of the people, if they ask for a certain gender, we will give that opportunity to them. And then we try and fit the trainer with the person, what they want to do.
We have great trainers. They're really personable, very down to earth. Look nice.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we can move on to Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Leahy and I coordinate the excursion where we get on a bus and take people and go do fun things at interesting places, as well as outdoor recreation, including a whole lineup of hikes that go from mid-April to mid-November. And excursions are year-round. And then the special events here at Malley Recreation Center. And so one of the things that we have coming up really tags along with what Nancy was talking about. And that is connecting our community with resources to help them age well. We call it our Healthy Aging Expo, and it is next Thursday, April 17th, here at the center, 2 to 5 p.m. And this is a large event. We expect about 450 patrons to come, and those may come from Englewood, they may come from surrounding communities, Denver, Littleton, Centennial, Lakewood, it's open to all, but it'll probably primarily be this concentrated in this area. And then we have vendors, and we have 77 vendors coming, and they vary from, we got 29 of those are nonprofit that we're really excited about, doing great work in the community, and then we have a whole variety of for-profit organizations that provide a lot of different services as well. So we have everything from Parkinson's nonprofits that specifically meet the needs of people that are living with Parkinson's. We have long-term care finders. We have health insurance. We have meal service, volunteer organizations that are working toward trying to solve food insecurity or at least meet some of those needs. We've got assisted living centers, both for-profit and nonprofit, that are in the region. We have organizations that help people with home repair. We have transportation representatives that are coming to help people understand what are transportation opportunities if you're not driving any longer or you're not driving at night, for example. What are those? Instead of that being a limitation in your life, what are the alternatives within the community that can support you? And then we also have a lot of community organizations like the Lions Club We have Rotary coming. We have city representative coming as well, police department. Because when you are aging and you live alone, sometimes you feel fearful at various things. And so the outreach that the city police department does is really important for people to know how to tap into those resources. We have our restorative justice program that's going to be represented. And some of those organizations, as well as some that are not city organizations, are specifically seeking volunteers that engage aging adults so that they can remain feeling contributing to the community because they are valuable resources, great deal of wisdom and lived experience. So that's kind of gives you a little bit of a sense of what this expo is going to be in connecting aging adults, active adults, older adults, to learn to live a healthy life as they age, whether that's in place, assisted living, whatever it may be.
And you're all invited.
You're all invited. Thank you.
So come by. We'd love to see you.
Yes.
So that's open to residents from the surrounding area. What about your excursions and the rec center itself? Do you have to be an Inglewood resident to go hiking with you, or is that open to
Absolutely.
individuals?
What is your name?
Nick Palmer.
Hey, I'm Christine, and yes, we don't make we include everybody. We will charge you an extra fee since you're not paying property tax in city of Inglewood. However, our programs are open to all, and that also is true for the programming that occurs in the building. Right. Yeah. You gonna sign up for a hike? We
I'll
also,
relay the information to my in-laws.
what's that?
So I'll probably relay that information to my in-laws.
There you go. And I actually lead the hike, so
Even better.
that's a bonus.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Hey, Shelly.
I'm Shelly Fitzpelly. I'm the recreation supervisor for Malley. My job is to do fitness and all the cultural art classes. So I have a wide gamut of different things. Currently, our fitness program is just booming. We have classes that are filled with wait lists. It's been a long time since we've had that exciting news. So we're currently looking at how to either split or do different things. So it might mean that I'm going to be asking for some more staff. So we're working on that. Our art Pilates reformers, we just have brand new eight new reformers. So that is a great thing. Thank you very much for the city. Arts and craft classes are going really well. Also, we have wait lists for all of those also. So we're seeing a turnaround of people coming out and doing different things. So that's a great thing. Looking forward to the refresh, that means that it's opportunities to do new classes also for cardio machines and making sure that the people understand how to utilize the equipment that is coming in.
Okay, any questions for this wonderful crew? Thank you all. We can move on to old business, starting with the bond update.
Yeah, definitely. So we did hire a project manager to oversee all things bonds. We do have a project management team internally, and that's comprised of staff. And so Jena Olberdine, who you probably know from the school mill levy, has accepted the position. I want to thank Nick. Nick also applied at an amazing interview. So yeah, we got excellent candidates, which we couldn't have asked for anything more than that. But Jena will start on May 5th. She's going to attend the May 24th Oversight Committee meeting. And then also, we're right now playing the market a little bit as far as when the bond sale is going to happen. Right now, it's slated to happen on the 16th of this month. But with the way the tariffs are rolling and the stock market's going, there's so many uncertainties, and other municipalities across the nation, actually, some have delayed about a week. and selling bonds for whatever initiative they had passed. And so we're just letting our bond council direct us since this is what they do for a living. And but right now the 16th. And so once the bond sale happens, then we will really hit the ground running with all of our projects and get going. So I don't know if Jena wants to share, but she participated in the first bond oversight committee meeting. We went over projects and talked about what was happening, kind of timelines. Right now, the timeline is very kind of straight across as far as we don't have specifics on each project. That timeline is going to get a lot more intense as each project comes online for that. So Jen, I don't know if you want to add anything related to that meeting.
No, I just want to let everyone know that, the recordings of the meetings are on the, bond's website, so it's the Renew Directory webpage on the city's website. So that'll be, you know, if you want to tune into any of those meetings, the recordings are there, not live, but
Yeah.
after the facts. Yeah, I'm just gonna ask about the, right?
Yeah. And so just an update for all of you, Cushing Park is ready to go for construction as soon as the sale happens. I know, well, this is. Should we let you cover it off? Go for it. I'll let Adrian cover it.
Brad took on things last month.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll get the bond update real quick. So Cushing, as Christina was saying, yeah, we have 100% construction drawings. We have selected a contractor. And once we get funding, we'll go to council to ask for permission to approve the contract, and then we'll start exhibition. I was in a CPRA Parks workshop today, and I did talk to playground manufacturers, and they said their lead times are down to a month. So much better than we have experienced over the last few years. So hopefully that'll speed up all of our projects. So I was
Date's Logan, just to give an example of playgrounds, it was 6 months. Longer than that, maybe?
8 to 9.
Yeah, so that's amazing if that sticks. If it's a month out, that will really help all these projects out significantly.
Emerson, we have 90% construction drawings at Emerson. We meet with the design team next week to review the construction drawings. Any changes we have at that point, they'll make, and then we'll have 100% for Emerson as well. So we're getting very, very close on Emerson. Rotolo, right now what we're working on is the restroom design. We want to be uniquely Inglewood and be different than every other park restroom that you see everywhere else. So we have an architect designing the restroom for Rotolo. So that's currently where we're at with that. We're probably still around 70% as far as construction drawings for Rotolo.
And I'll add, custom doesn't mean more expensive. We're actually coming in possibly a little lower than most of the restrooms we purchased for our parks, which are the pre-built you put in place at the park. This is gonna be built on site, and it's cool. It's taking an historic piece of the neighborhood and making it really fit. So it's not more expensive to go custom, surprisingly, which was a nice thing to learn. 75,000.
Going custom versus a drop-in pre-built restroom. So it's a win-win for all of us. That's the parks updates.
I have something to mention. Yeah.
Is the custom restroom kind of something that we're just moving forward with, like with the other renovations, or?
That is our plan for other places that have restrooms. That's the direction that we've given the design teams. The other parks is kind of like fishing. We're waiting for bond funding for them to just start design on the other parks. So we have selected design teams for each park, but they haven't actively started any design.
In the recreation center, the design team's been selected. That's yours. Go ahead.
The recreation center design team has been selected, and the contract is being reviewed right now by the city attorney's office. So we should have that back, and we'll be bringing that to council here soon. Yesterday, we completed interviews for the Pirates Cove design. Cody was part of that. Thank you again for being part of that, instrumental on that. And a lot of good voice with that one. So we're excited. We haven't narrowed down to two. There's 3 different firms that we interviewed. We are between 2 of them. The one firm is doing a project right now up in Bloomfield, to where I know pretty well I know the director there that's involved with it, and Adrian knows the director there, and I know the aquatics manager. I've known her for years. So we're gonna get together with them and just kind of find out a little bit more about, that design, how it worked and everything, if they had any problems and stuff, and then we'll be making that selection probably here in the next week sometime. We'll do that one. So that's exciting as well. To go away from the bond stuff, since I'll just move into the staff's choice.
Do you
Can I?
give permission?
Okay, I'll wait till you.
What questions
So that's
do you have on the
bond.
bond?
Let's get the bond first. Any questions or feedback on the bond?
The one thing I thought of, is there a way we could use low cost? I don't want to spend money that we don't need to spend. Some kind of signage just for the projects as we complete them, which I know we're not there yet.
Yeah.
To just showcase, like, this is your money, this, like, you approved this is what it paid for.
Yeah, in fact, we've had, you want to talk about it?
Sure. So we are planning on small, well, not small, but grand openings and celebrations as we complete each project.
And we are working with the communications team to design some marketing, the signs you see along the highways, your tax dollars at work. Putting those types of signs up as the parks start, with information, links to the website, Inglewood Engaged, and the Renew and Recreate website, as well, which covers all things bond.
They're also gonna use the new signs that you've seen throughout the city, the information signs in the parks and other locations to give information and updates on projects.
Yeah, so with the potential delay of the bond sales, does that push back any of the project timelines, or it's just the
No.
longer we wait to sell these things, the tighter that project?
Once the bonds sell, that's our start time and day.
Okay, so if it wound up being July, it'd be July of 2028 then,
Yeah.
or so on?
So in some respects, it's allowing us to continue to line everything up to get ready to go to council for contract approvals, so we can hit the ground running with it. So in some respects, it's nice that the sale is delayed slightly, because initially it was supposed to happen in March, then it was pushed into April,
Sure.
now it's middle of April, so I mean, we're okay with it, just it buys us more time on the back end.
Right.
But if it happens on the 16th, we're ready to go and game time.
Okay, we can wrap up bond discussion then, and go ahead with the.
Staff's choice, we do that.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Why not? You wanna boot Adrian off, Adrian, are you done?
He's used to it. So a little bit of an update on the recreation center. As you know, that we did a refurbishing of the recreation center for the front lobby, and then also for an aquatics training area with that one. We did have some money left over with that project, and we identified a few things. So one thing was, we noticed that on the west side of the lobby area, the lights that are there are the existing lights that were put in 40 years ago. And we have brand new lights that are lights over the counter, so we had some money, so that project is going on right now. They're looking to finish that hopefully by tomorrow, that all the hangers and stuff are in place, so the lights should go up that one. We also were able to upgrade the can lights that start going down the hallway. So with that one, we brightened up that area too, so that one's been a big improvement for that one. So that's kind of what's going on with the library.
The
The library.
Wow, it is Library Appreciation Day, by the way, that's why library's on the spot.
Can I add something really quickly too? So,
Yeah, and then Adrian gets to go.
really quick, I know, sorry, Adrian. I have some renderings of the work that's gonna be done here at Malley, so I'll just pass this around if you guys are interested. So take a peek, sending. Okay, that's it.
Anybody else want to go before Adrian? Go ahead.
So council supported and signed our support letter on Monday night for the Centennial Trail and Handling project. We submitted the grant this week, so exciting stuff. Thank you to those who sent me support letters. July 22nd is kind of the Rapid County Open Space Board meeting where they decide which projects will be funded. Southwest Greenbelt Path will be completed this week. We went to Elevate Inglewood last week and got a lot of positive feedback about that new path that's west. So if you haven't seen it, we removed the asphalt and put concrete, so it's now concrete from Atolo all the way through the greenbelts.
I'll just add to you, this Southwest Greenbelt was part of the bond initially, it was taken out. But because we released funding more or less through the bond to do other improvements, we were able to fund Southwest Greenbelt's trail improvement out of our open space and the general fund, correct? Was it
Just
all?
open-
Just open space. Yeah. So we'll see more improvements happening in other parks now, so it's, you get more money technically, or more projects out of this bond because we're able to use open space funding too.
Next thing I have, for those of you that don't know, the Hop and Shop is this Saturday at Bellevue Park from 10 to 2. So we'd love to see you all there. And last thing I have, I saved the best for last. So Bates Logan, the last flat work was done this week. American Ram Company will be in next week. They're the ones that are building the bicycle park of the project. And tentatively mark your calendars, June 14th, Saturday, June 14th, we're gonna have a big grand opening. So we're still working on some details and we'll get a formal invitation out to you all and council and county commissioners. You know, kind of a large group to get this project done. So very excited about that and we're almost at the.
Amazing update.
And go ahead.
Would the park potentially be open before June 14th, but that's just when the party could be?
We'll have a soft, it'll just be soft open and then we'll
Yeah,
have.
Like when it's done, it's open for the public.
When you see the fences down,
Listen, I can see.
Chris will have
from
running
my-
across the street.
I can see from my couch, I just stare,
Yeah,
I just stare.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanna know because everyone in the neighborhood asks me every month after these meetings, like, okay.
We're still hopeful, you know, weather permitting, that we will be playing with the project towards the end of May. That's what I got.
Thank you. I just have one more question for
Go
you.
ahead.
The open space, Arapahoe open space meeting, is that open to the public? Is that something that it's like helpful if anyone attends to cheerlead our, you know, grant over someone else's, or is it, what's the etiquette there?
I will find out. I don't know for sure on that.
I believe they do the tour prior, right?
Correct. So to back up a little bit, the board will come in May and tour Centennial Park, and that'll be our time to really talk about the project.
So just like happened to be at Centennial Park that day.
I'll be there, just random residents
Yeah.
walking away.
The trip.
Sign.
Would be nice if the trail was more, but mom.
There's a story I can read.
What kind of birds?
Oh, man.
So I'll find out and I'll let you guys.
Okay.
Alright, Tina, Dwayne, what's going on with you guys?
Well, there's a lot going on in the city always. A few of the more exciting things recently, was the approval of a PUD to get some redevelopment going on in the old Hobby Lobby area. So we're gonna have some family units going up in there. We're really, really hopeful that they can attract a hotel. We don't have one in Inglewood for any of our big events, and the closest is down the
Well,
street.
there's the Lucky
Eagle or
You, but-
Lakewood.
There's a lucky you by my.
Well, right. So I think it's really a matter of, you know, who they can attract. If they cannot attract a quality hotel for that space, then there'll be more multifamily units going up in there. But excited to see that, getting off the ground. In addition to that, we've been in lots of conversations with, New Inglewood, who kind of bought out a space down by the Civic Center. We're negotiating ground lease releases and fun negotiations. But really excited to potentially see that really come to fruition and get some movement and traction and having some continuity of, you know, the redevelopment all along that corridor. Monday night, we will have our first flush review of the capital improvement projects that are being requested for the 26 budget. So that's always an exciting time. And I think for me, as I still consider myself a new council member, even though I've been here for a while. But this last Monday, we had very robust discussion on voting methodology and whether it should be changed or not, given the passage of the direct elect mayor last fall. So we landed we initially had some consensus to put that question out as a special election to ask the voters whether they wanted to change on that. Received a lot of feedback and pushback. People just didn't really ask for it when they put the citizens initiative out. And so we now are looking at the potential of putting that on the November ballot instead of spending money on a special election and having the results of that take effect in future years. So in addition to looking at the question on how do we want to vote? Do we want to keep it plurality voting, which is what we normally do? Do we want ranked choice voting, which does not seem super popular in Inglewood, or runoffs? Regardless of all of that, I think we are contemplating also asking the question, should that apply to all council members versus just the mayor's position? I personally think it should. We should have a similar methodology for everyone. So that's exciting stuff. And it's kind of, you know, it's really important stuff. Like if you care about how you vote, and it's one of the more fundamental rights, but I view as a duty, well, like weigh in, you know, if you have thoughts on that, come, you know, send some emails or come to our next meetings and make public comment. I think that we have a overwhelming, voice that leans one way, and I don't necessarily hear other voices. And for me, as our at-large council member, I try to really respect what we're hearing from the community. So if I'm only hearing one side of that, you know, even if I may not agree with what that sentiment is, I have to do what's right by the voices that we're hearing. So for me, really important that you get out and speak, or even just send me an email or call me if you have thoughts on that. That's about it for now. Just a few things.
We can tell a story together tonight. The students that went to Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Inglewood has a sister city in Germany. I don't know if some of you may have following us. We were able to send several of our Inglewood students to Germany. They stayed with families over there. They're going to be doing a report out of the board meeting pretty soon. No, one of our board meetings. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
The council cap.
Right. Yeah, so cool. It was a nice partnership between the district and the city. And what an experience for those kids. I wish I could go to Germany.
What a great group of kids too. I mean, they just had such a curiosity. Like you could tell that they just really engaged the experience, and you know, and they had great humor too, because they were our 10th and 11th graders that were paired with 12 and 13-year-olds.
Right. Yeah.
Because their education system is so different. And so, you know, you have to have some tolerance when you're that age as a teenager or the younger groups. But they got to visit so many different places. They went to Amsterdam and Cologne and all of these other places. They had people from their parliament come out and spend time with them. Like they really rolled out the red carpet. So very exciting experience. And then we get to host them next year.
I've already put my hat in one of the host families in the summit. Can you imagine? That would be a blast. So looking forward to reciprocating for that next year as well. And then beyond that, we're now in the middle of April. That means from now until the end of school in the middle of May, there's 47 events across all the schools between now every day. So if you haven't been out to visit any of our schools, go to the website, find an event that's going on over there that is you, and go out and see our schools. So, and our one last thing. Sorry, I'm trying to talk for longer than Tina. I'm not going to make it, but I'm going to get close. The, our Maddox Early Childhood Center received recently, it's the highest rating possible. They were given a 5-star rating. Exceptional things going on over there at Maddox. It continues to be. So for any of you that are looking for, I'm looking right now. Yeah. Keep me posted. I'll get you a tour.
I can speak as a parent of a child at Maddox. It genuinely feels like a private school. I mean, it's wild. It is so beautiful. The staff is so incredible. The tenderness that I felt and like personalized attention that I feel like each family gets treated with is insane in the most amazing way. I mean, it is such a special place.
It is, that's the word I always use, is special. It
Yeah.
is a special place. And we had to expand. We had to open up all the classrooms this year because the demand, bring on new staff, and there's still a wait list.
Yeah,
So,
that's amazing.
it's not a secret anymore. And the fact that they've been able to maintain the characteristics you just described even with the growth.
It's
over
really.
the last couple of years,
The
yeah,
staff there is amazing.
Some of the staff are the same staff that taught my kids.
Right.
And he didn't look at me when he was looking at young people. I mean, I think I got included with the aging 50 plus. That just really speaks to the legacy of that school, that have employees that are that long term, like, they help us raise our babies.
Yeah,
It's a great place.
their summer programming is amazing. I tried to sneak my way back in.
It's a preschool or what age group?
Preschool, yeah.
So once you're 3 years old, 3 and 4, yeah. I mean, and through 5, I guess, depending on when you turn 5.
When you turn 5, yeah.
Mhm.
And then the last thing, obviously, just, you talked about that was a really diplomatic way to handle the uncertainty in the bond market. Christina, you get kudos for the way you really were pretty careful with your language there. I may not be as diplomatic, but yeah, keeping track of everything going on with, obviously, the state budget, legislature still, I think I talked about this last time, and then at the federal level, right, with not only the Department of Education, but the funding that comes out of that department and if it gets moved around or cut. So obviously, thanks for keeping a close eye on.
Anyone else for staff's choice? Okay, we can move on to commissioner's choice.
I did get to participate in the Arts Code RFP, Brad had mentioned, that was great. Some wonderful design teams presented. I think no matter who ultimately chose, we're gonna be a great hands there. Also, my wife has served with Jena on the library board and had great things to say. And so I'm excited to see that an Englewood resident was chosen for that position as well. I think that's gonna be fantastic for the overall bond projects. And looking forward to seeing some of these things really kick off.
Oh, and real quick, don't forget, Saturday is Hop and Shop at Bellevue Park.
That's two.
Not only did you already mention.
Dead zone too. I just had to remind.
And Thursday, Health Aging Expo, 2 to 5.
2 to 5 here.
You're over there googling bondmarket.com.
I know, I'm like.
In a competition going on.
Right?
We're not competitive.
This is how our meetings go off.
I think Brad's voice is still hoarse from last month's meeting.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ouch.
Oh, I don't. Anything else for commissioner's choice? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to share an update I spoke with, Sarah Stan from the recreation manager, on summer programming. So thank you so much for the
Okay,
introduction.
thank you.
I was able to have a meeting last Friday with her, Avery and Nicholas, who really run everything over there. And we don't for sure have an answer on diapering yet. I meant to call her today to ask. But what I found out is our programming is already really, really inclusive. There's a lot of things that they can do. I think I found the one thing that they were like, oh, we're not sure. But this was a surprise to me. And so as somebody that's a parent in that community, I thought what an opportunity for Parks and Rec to maybe, advertise that a little bit more or make sure that we're reaching out to, because I know we partner with developmental pathways a lot, but like my case manager didn't know that. So maybe we could talk about some opportunities of how to make sure that those communities know that there is programming available, and you know, we had a nurse on staff. They can administer medication, you can come with pretty much any ability. If you have autism, a whole range of things that they are already set up to manage. So I just thought that would be really cool to find a way to share that more broadly.
No, that's great recommendation to more partnerships and people like you and others that say, what about this? It helps us expand our partnerships even further, or at least the marketing piece too. So yeah, I'm glad you got to meet with them and
Now they're wonderful.
good.
What else?
Okay, well, sorry.
Those at park, the Hop and Shop.
Yeah, here's the ad for Hop and Shop Saturday.
I sent you a picture of the meeting
Yeah.
I don't have my,
to the chat.
oh,
Well, as we were talking,
Somebody's ears was
when we got an email
Wi-Fi.
and we got, the,
Wi-Fi.
so that's the concept.
Oh, cool.
We're told.
To me, it screams 70s, but 2025. Is
That's one of,
that a look?
I'm a fan.
I'll have looks top, see kind of behind bars.
Oh, sure.
Well, they're actually wood, so that it'll be, bring different colors in. And bring light into the restroom, so on the front side and then on the back side, they'll have windows that you can see. You can't see in them because the back side is going
oh,
to
hold
the
on.
pond. So they'll be quite a big, it'll be 10, 15 feet up, the windows on the back side. Also a great opportunity that we brainstormed, grow vines on the back of it or murals, or we could do some really cool things on the back of that would face the park, so.
And we're talking these bricks will probably be painted a color. We haven't picked the color yet, but just to give a little pop in the actual park itself will stick out. So when your kid has to go potty, you say, go to the blue restroom or the red restroom or whatever.
And this is Rotella?
So you can kind of.
Wait,
You can kind of see the
You
playground.
don't want to use the porta potty anymore?
I'm just excited to see what we got going.
Yeah. So I literally got the email while we were sitting. So, sure.
Thanks for sharing. Who's the architect?
Super Bloom is the landscape.
It's stopped down to one.
Yes, yep. I'm gonna do that,
Or third.
like,
Oh, do you want me to go back to it?
No.
but anyway, I thought I'd share that with the guys.
Let's go.
Up and Shop Saturday, see you there.
Me too.
All right, with all business concluded, the meeting is adjourned at 6:28 PM.